Hi, everybody. Happy July 2nd. Happy Tuesday. Sorry to be late this week. Some of you know that I still keep my job as a director with Mary Kay Cosmetics. I love my job. I love my business. I've been with Mary Kay for almost 22 years, and I love my job. I love my customers. I love my consultants. It's such a gift for me to have that place in my life and to be able to wear that hat as well as this hat, and to divide my time. It's such a blessing, and I guess I love being part of it. And so in the Mary Kay world, like other companies, other places, organizations, our fiscal year ended on June 30th. So there was lots of hubbub and fuss and excitement and a lot of excitement to lead up to our finale, our crossing the finish line on June 30th. And I'm so proud of my group. I'm so proud of how these women pulled together, and the communications and the text messages going back and forth and the encouragement on our Facebook page. And I'm so proud that we finished 17% above last year. I mean, that's amazing, because they are just, so many of them are so independent, and there's just such amazing consultants that they need so little from me. And it is just such a blessing to have every single one of them in my life, and to see them really rally it to the finish line and finish in such an exciting way. It was really beautiful, which is perfect and exactly what has been going on with the new moon and the eclipse, and as the moon comes into Cancer. So yesterday we were helping one of our friends move. They had to move at the very last minute for the timing of getting approval for the house and getting the trucks and the things, and really just heroic effort of moving in such a short time. And so before we went to the river yesterday to be with the manatees, we got up real super early to go and help them. And so it was a dawn to dusk, beyond the dusk event yesterday with manatees in the river, and just really a joy with that. A little bit of heartbreak, as one of our beloved manatees was killed by a boat. Evidence seems very clear that it was a boat strike that killed the manatee, and it's heartbreaking to me, because they are such beautiful, beautiful creatures, and for me personally, because they are my spirit animal, and we lose. It's such a preventable thing to lose the manatees by boats, and that's just people being egotistical. There was a gentleman in a pontoon boat. It was several couples and older people, like people who should know better. And he came off the beach where they had been docked, and he was just running up the engine, and myself and several other people hollered and said, "Hey, idle speed. That means, if your boat is throwing off white foamy stuff, that's too much. That you're not creating a wake, because the propellers can hit the manatees, you wouldn't even see them." And he yelled back, he said, "I know what idle speed is," and he left off down the road. Down the river, and I'm like, that's not idle speed at all. And it just breaks my heart every time I hear that noise out there, because in the river, because I know the manatees are out there. So if you're a boater, boat safely, please, with the 4th of July holiday coming and into this weekend. And if you are out there on the water and you see people who, and you're in a no-wake zone, obviously manatees are specific to my part of the country. But if you're out there and you're in the south of the United States, the southeast, and you're out there and you see people where there may be manatees, say something. You don't have to be rude, but say something to protect the manatees, because losing even one manatee is just a heartbreak, because they're still so imperiled. So as I say, all of this is profound, because it's, hi Alton, hi Vicki. All of this is so profound to me, because this is exactly, the emotions, the things that are, hey Linda, these are exactly the emotions and the things that are going on with the new moon in Cancer. So here's what happens. we come into this time of a new moon and energy is coming down. Okay, so energy comes down into the new moon. This is the time of releasing things and also shifting. It's the time that we are letting go of things that no longer serve us. Me too. I'm looking over there because that's where your comments are showing over there. So I miss you too, Linda. But it's a time that we're releasing things and a time that we're letting go of things. And especially with this new moon in Cancer, it's all about relationships. It's all about the heart. And it's so much about family. But it's also about the purge. It's about the things that are shifting around us to remove toxicity and toxic people, toxic situations from our lives. And I literally have been watching this as friend after friend has shared with me things that have been shifting around over the last week or two since the full moon, because we get the energy, the peak of the energy is in the full moon, and then the energy starts to wane and come down into the new moon as we're releasing things. And now we're setting intentions and we're asking for things to come in this new moon, which will be tonight. But we have the eclipse as well, which makes Floopy energy, which we've been talking about. So now the energy starts to go back up again, and this is the time of the manifestation and drawing things to you. But you have to release what no longer serves you first. You know, a lot of people, you know, have that rule: I can go out and buy a new pair of shoes, but I have to let go of a pair of shoes in the process. So I have my rule is close to that. But to be able to bring new things in, you have to have a place to put it. Otherwise, you just become an energetic hoarder, whether that's, you know, shoes or not. You know, you want to make sure that you're releasing things so that you have the space to and the clarity to welcome things in. And so when I picked the cards today, because like I said, this new moon, it has all been about releasing. And I'm watching as the universe has been pulling people away from me. And in some instances, people that have been pulled away from me are people that have been in my life for years. And to show that there's, you know, those cords that are attached in the tendrils of roots of relationships and things. And it's like pulling, like if you've ever tried to like brush a little girl's hair when it's been naughty, you know, it could just be like pulling things out, and it can be agonizing. I said to somebody the other day, it's like having taking peanut butter or getting bubble gum out of your hair. You have to like disentangle one strand at a time. So if you have been feeling like things have just been like someone has been pulling your hair out one strand at a time with just little aggravations, or people that have been acting strangely, feeling odd around people you normally feel comfortable with, and just feeling like you're really being, there's been a lot of energy about feeling like I'm trying to go this way, and every time I'm going this way, there's been a block. Like everywhere that I try to go, that there's been a block. And to be able to take that breath and say clearly, I am not supposed to go this way. I am supposed to go this way, and to follow where they're redirecting you, and to take that breath, which is sometimes so hard for us, especially strong women that are like fixers and doers and stuff, to really to take that breath and allow ourselves to be directed where the universe is trying to send us, because it will always, the universe always has our back. It is always from love. It will always guide us in the right way. And so I had to laugh because here, of course, is the first card, gifts from God. These cameras will go backwards. Gifts from God. And I had to just laugh because the universe always has your back. The universe is always right. The timing of the universe is always right. We just can't always see it. We see the tapestry, like if you've ever looked at a tapestry or a needlepoint, and on the front it's this beautiful picture, and on the back it's a holy mess of yarns going everywhere, knots and things. It's a holy mess. So we can only see the backside of it, but the angels and guides and God and higher and ascended masters, they're looking at the beautiful picture on the front. So we're looking up, you know, and we're just seeing the back of it. So trusting, which is such a huge concept. It is such a huge concept. And I talk with people about this over and over again, trusting that the universe has your back, and that even when things seem like they are going to shit, it is for our highest and best good, if we will allow it to be to play out. And that's where we get stuck, where we are constantly trying to be like, but I don't want to go that way. I want to go this way. I'm going to barrel through, but then we miss what benefits, you know, and what blessings and what gifts could have been from over here. Now, eventually, your path will take you back over here, but, you know, you may do 6 U-turns to get back over there, and it takes a lot longer. And then we get to that place and go, oh, I wish I could have done this sooner. And the universe is going, hello. So the gifts from God is, I think, is just such a profound card, because even when, and if you know my story at all, which some of you do, if not, catch it on my blog. But the biggest nightmare of my life truly was fighting for this house. I love my house. I love my house. We've lived here for going on 15 years now. I can't even believe I've been gone from LA for 15 years. But I love my house, and I fought Bank of America for my house for 3 years. And to be able to know, if I'd have known, if someone could have told me that on the other side of this fight, which was really a fight for my life, because in the battle of it, it was, you know, my health, my sanity, my depression, my you know, coming to the edge of choosing between life and death, and really a fight for my life, not just a fight for my house. But in that came the transformation of all of these things that have brought unbelievable blessings into my life. So if somebody had come to me and said, look, it is going to suck for 3 years, but you are going to get through it. We've got your back. And when you get through it, it is going to be blessing after blessing after blessing. Just allow this to play out. Because now, don't be complacent. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being complacent. You still have to be an active participant. But there's a difference between being an active participant, allowing the universe to guide you, and fighting against it and resisting the things that we don't want. And we've talked about that before. And so if somebody had come along to me and said, listen, if you can just ride this out and allow the universe to do this purge for you, this shift, your life is never going to be the same, and it's going to be 1,000 times richer than you can even imagine if you allow us to take you down this path. And yeah, it's going to suck, and yeah, it's going to hurt, but I promise you at the other end, you're going to be so richly blessed, and your life is not even going to, you're not even going to understand how amazing your life is going to be. If somebody has said that, I'd be like, all right, I can hang in there for 3 years. That's 365 times 3, because y'all know I don't do math. So, but if you know, you would make it work out. You would keep that faith because you knew where the finish line was. The problem is that we don't know where the finish line is, but we have to trust that there will be that finish line, and that it is absolutely in our best interest. And so we have the gifts of God. And so then the next was outdoors. And this just cracked me up, because here we are talking about the solar eclipse and the new moon. And unfortunately here in the United States, we won't be able to see the eclipse, but it's out there. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. But, and then we also have the 4th of July, which here in America is independence and fireworks and barbecues and all those kind of things. And this has cracked me up, because this new moon in Cancer is all about relationships, family bonding, coming together as a family, spending time with family. And it's also so much about pleasure and food. So I just was cracking up that this was the card, because, you know, having the outdoors right now with the 4th of July, it is absolutely all about all the things that the new moon in Cancer is all about. So I just thought that was perfect, because the cards are always right, which I love. And so then it came, the last card is teaching and learning from the Archangel Zadkiel. And I love this, because we've been talking about this a lot. We've been talking about being educated and absorbing new knowledge from unforeseen places. And we've also been talking about what are the gifts that you can offer, that you can bring. And so I've been excited to be teaching more classes and offering this on a more one-on-one, a more in-depth, and really tailored to the people that are working with me, about being an empath and a psychic and a medium, and being able to work in that skill set, and really to protect yourself and understand the things and feelings and all the stuff that's going on. Because right now the energy out there is crazy, and with leading up into this eclipse. And if you're not sure and understanding how to protect yourself and understanding what you're feeling, it can really wreak a lot of havoc. And so here's me last week. I spent some time with my girlfriend. She was going through a hard time. I love her so dearly. I gave her a big hug. I gave her a big squeeze. I didn't even think to myself to protect myself from her because she and I are really great friends. And she left. And the minute she left, I picked a fight with my husband. Like, I was like, and it was totally my fault. I mean, really, it was totally my fault. And about 3 minutes later, I was like, oh, this was totally me. I picked up the energy from her and I just was getting rid of it. This was not anything that we need to fight about. I'm so sorry. Totally own it. And I took a second and I really like released all of that. And I kind of did a little scan and got the light and just put all of that into back into the earth and let go. None of that was mine. And I apologized and he said, oh, I've just picked all that up. So, when you're learning how to protect yourself and how to release what's not yours and how to cut those cords and just to really be able to receive it, what we talked about in the beginning, you have to let go of things in order to bring new things in. So what are those, where are those preconceived notions or those beliefs that you may have or things that you've learned in the past that you can readjust your beliefs. So today I learned something new from another girlfriend of mine who was talking to me about the community that she lives and works in and connecting with the people that are there. This Toby, if you didn't ever meet Toby, he lives here, but he spends most of his days in the drawer in my desk, so you can see Toby in the drawer. So he's my guard dog. So he's looking at something out the window. Okay, and that's Buddy. That's talking. That's the actual guard dog, the big dog. What were we talking about? Oh, so releasing. Oh God, I really forgot my train of thought. Sorry. So releasing to be able to bring in things. So as you are, my girlfriend who was teaching me about the community that she lives and works in, because it is a different community, and she was talking to me about, if I go in there, that the communication is really different. She lives in a community where there's a high population of deaf people because her son is deaf and he attends a school, and she was really teaching me so much today about communicating and communication and how we absorb information and how we really have to think about it from the other perspective. She was explaining to me that deaf people, a lot of them don't read well because they've never heard how the words are pronounced. Never would have even thought about that just because they hadn't heard the word out loud means that they wouldn't be able to read it as well. And I thought that was a profound shift to me of really thinking about how we communicate with people, and can they not just hear us, but can they comprehend us? And the flip has to be true as well. Can we comprehend them? Can we hear them? And so as we're getting messages from the divine, I think especially in your meditations, if you are finding yourself in a place where you're not understanding what they're communicating with you, whether it's coming this way or the person that's in front of you, ask for more information. Ask for more information because, for the divine, for sure, they want you to get it. They want you to understand it. So if you're not understanding the message that they're trying to give you, to be able to take a minute and go, I don't get it. Can you show me another sign? Break it down in smaller pieces. Give me another sign, something I can understand. I'm not understanding this. And be patient because they will. But when you're talking and communicating, and I think it's one of the things we've really lost that piece of in our society right now is the ability to communicate and listen and hear, because it's not the same to be able to listen and to hear. So it's so important that we're teaching people, but that we're also learning, because we don't evolve if we're not continuing to allow ourselves to take in new information. Learning is so important because that shifts us profoundly when we learn something new. It changes how we think about things. It changes that box, expands the thinking. The learning is so important, and then it becomes so incumbent upon us to share that out with the people around us, to share the new knowledge, to share our gifts, to share our opinions, to not stay silent in injustice, but to not be judgmental for to not come from a judgmental place, to come from a place of love and acceptance. And so I think every week, I think it's the most perfect reading. So gifts from God. understanding that we are shifting, we are being pruned, we are, the energy is low. After tomorrow, it's going to go back up again. So what things would you like to call in and welcome in with this rise of the new moon tonight? Being outdoors and enjoying the 4th of July with friends and family, which is a big part of this new moon in Cancer. It's all about gathering and having those people we love around us. And also it's about food. So enjoy, but don't eat too much. And then to be able to always continuing our education and then sharing that with others. It is so important, you guys, that circle, because everything, you know, people talk about, oh, circle of life. Yes, the circle of life. But the circle of our life energy, it goes like this. It's in that spiral. So you're going to come around to that same point again, hopefully at a higher vibration. So that same situation is going to come up again, whatever, you know, you might be dealing with right now, that same situation is going to come up again. And hopefully the next time you come around that spiral, you're going to be at a higher vibration, that you're going to be able to handle that, or to feel that, to understand it, to process it, to deal with it in a more loving, gracious way, because you have come to a higher vibration about it. That for me is one of the biggest gifts about the teaching and the learning. We own something so much more when we teach about it, but always expanding to learn it. So to learn new things, because that expands our brains and our hearts and raises our vibration. And that, I think, is really how we change the planet. So I have our postcard from the universe. I love these. These are so cute. I love these, from Colette Baron Reed. And so, you know, I don't read these ahead of time. I don't pick them. I say, please guide me to the one that's proper and, you know, the one that's needed for this week. And then I don't read them in advance. So I have no idea what it does, but it always seems to be somehow perfect. So it says, dearest you, pump up the music and bang on the drum. Now, isn't that the way for 4th of July? Pump up the music and bang on the drum. Get on up and start that hustle towards your goals and dreams. There are times to be still, but this is not one of them. Now is the time to make that first move. Say yes to life. Pick up the phone. Make that decision and take that one step forward to that one step toward the gods or to us. This one's hard to read, I'm sorry. Expect the cascade of changes, good news, and opportunities to show up as if by magic. Well, you know, it's really the spirit in all of us moving things around for your benefit. The point is that we are saying go for it. Take positive action toward your dreams, even if the outcome isn't an exact fit for your agenda. It will all be orchestrated by spirit and arrive in divine and appropriate timing. Don't you just love how it all works? Now, okay, so that just, okay, mind blown, just right there. Because is that not what we were just talking about? Oh my goodness, such a blessing. I love the cards. The cards don't lie, and the timing of the universe is always right. If I can help you find out what you're teaching and learning, or help you with teaching and learning, if there's something I can do to support you on your path, I am so here. I love your comments. Please keep commenting. I'd love to hear what you're working on, what you're learning, what you're teaching, what your skills are that you're offering to the universe, or what blessings you're sharing with the world to raise vibrations, things that you're learning to raise your own vibration, and how you can share that with the world. Wherever you want to comment, I love reading your comments. And thank you so much for spending a few minutes with me today. Sorry to be late. It was totally unavoidable yesterday, and but I'm so excited to have you all with us, and thank you so much for spending a few minutes. Love and light.